my name is Harry Tumbato. You're watching Talk to Harry. We have Johnny Chang. I call him the Maverick of Quezon City. We have Butch Valdez, who has espoused the LaRouche movement in the last 15, 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, before we go on, the topic of where we are going, if you'll notice, centers on one thing. It's called the Philippine Islands. Now, may issue nga tayo sa China, may issue nga tayo sa Amerikano, may issue rin tayo sa Malaysia, let's not forget it. And while we're giving away our country piece by piece, because after all, we will succeed with the Bangsa Moro, we will now soon have the Bangsa Ilocano, we will have the Bangsa Tagalog, the Bangsa Cebuano, the Bangsa Bicolano. But before we can get into breaking up our country to make it the United Islands of the Philippines, let's look at the bigger picture, because we might not even reach that stupidity, that state of stupidity where we might not have anything to break up anyway. Not that that's a good way to go, because I think that's a really moronic point of view. But imagine, iniimbita natin ang gera sa Pilipinas. Now, what did we establish in the first part of the show? Well, some points Butch Valdez has brought out 6,000 warheads all over the world, nuclear warheads. And to think the U.S. Armada being here, carrying more than 50% of that in their nuclear warships, and to think that's against our Constitution, kung magkamali o kung magdigmaan man, gagawin sa Pilipinas, di tayong pinakatalo, tayo lalabas na ulol at tayo gago. And for what? And who's making this mistake? Si Pinoy, our president? Our American, let's see, is an amboy, di ba? Our American Department of Foreign Affairs secretary, the whole government, cabinet. Why? Does our government hate the country and the Filipinos so much that they want the war to be here? Is it because of the war games and the video games the president plays and his cabinet with all their fast-shooting guns that they keep showing us on newsprint and TV. Di ba ang gagaling ng kabinete, lahat sa baril, they all sport a gun and they're all shooting each other, shooting in the firing range. Is this the example they want to lead? Do they want to bring the war into this country so they can play their war games? I thought we were problematic about feeding our poor. I thought we were problematic about having enough grain of rice to be distributed. Only this morning I was watching in the news, DSWD, hinuli nila sa Tacloban, binibenta sa isang restaurant. I mean, akala ko pagkain pinag-uusapan natin. Di ba dapat yun ang pinag-uusapan natin? Hindi yung digmaan gawin dito sa Pilipinas para mabulok o mabomba ang Pilipinas? Is there something wrong with you? Because you think, or the newspapers tell us, that Pinoy is very, very popular. Is there something wrong with you? Or tayo ang may mali na linuloko tayo? I don't know which way it's going, but it seems we are a lost society. Maybe we are a lost cause. But before we get obliterated into nothingness, should we allow the current status to sustain itself, to go on, and to wait for these nuclear bombs to propel themselves, to find themselves in 7,100 islands, soon to be 14,000? Maybe we don't have to split the country anymore in Bangsa Pangasinan, Bangsa Pampanga, parang ganun eh. Yung mga bombs, mga nuclear bombs will actually physically obliterate and separate all these little islands to maybe times 4, 28 to 30,000 little pieces. Is this the way we want it to go? Let's go back to the talk. You ended by saying that the Antichrist seems to be the man coming here on the 27th of April, the man whose color skin is black and yet white inside because he does not propel the graces or the virtues of his four leaders in America.
Yes.
Liberty, peace, di ba?
Life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
And pursuit of
definitely,
it's not life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness if it is war, nuclear warheads, and to bully.
Yeah.
Parang ganun nangyayari. But a country where in China, almost the same mass size as America, with 1.4 billion people in China, 300 million people in America, magdidigmaan, pero silang dalawa ay nila gawin sa bayan nila, gusto nila i-obliterate ang Pilipinas, dito nila gagawin. Ganito nangyayari, correct? Isn't this the crux of This is what we're really talking about, di ba?
Alam mo, nakakatawa tayo eh. Kinakampihan natin ang Amerika. Ang China, nagpapautang sa Amerika. Ang Amerika,
2 trilyon na utang ng Amerika
ang Amerika
sa China.
walang pera. Okay?
Print lang ng print ng pera.
Ang China, ang Hong Kong tumatanggap mga manggagawa natin. It will be
Amerika,
okay.
hindi,
Ang Amerika, I love you, pero bawal kayo dito. Okay?
Yung mga mayayaman na Pilipino na,
Pwede ron.
pumunta
Okay.
doon. May pera na kayo eh.
Ang China has been helping Philippines sa Northwell project. Northwell, di ba? 2 years ago, China gave 6.5 billion economic aid. Nagalit, pumunta sa Pinoy, paglabas, minura niya. He says something bad against China again. Siyempre sa kabila ng China, di nila maintindihan. What did we do wrong? Ang Amerika nagbigay ng $50 million, palakpakan tayo. Wala, ano may incentive tayo sa Amerika? Wala.
Not only that, over the past, let's say, 3 decades, China started off as maybe number 5th, number 7th trading partner of the Philippines. Currently, before this whole thing had happened, and up to now, China is still our number 1 trading partner.
Who's the one told me, mali, we're number 3 lang. China's number 3. Number 1
China is
naman.
number 1.
Si Rod.
Yeah.
Rod, number 3 lang daw. You were here.
Yeah, that is wrong. That is wrong. It depends.
I always thought
where-
it was China, both import and
yeah,
export.
of course. China and then Japan and U.S. started to go down. Depends what you mean by trading partner. If you include debt, foreign debt, no? Then,
baliktad.
then yung mga international banks come to play. Then iba yon. Because we don't owe China as much as we owe these international banks. And if you count that, then it starts to differ. But even that is a major issue because that foreign debt only increased because they imposed a major devaluation
I remember.
of our currency over there. In other words, hindi talaga tayo tumanggap dyan sa mga yan. No? But it's
Pinatanggal
true what-
yung interest and penalties
Yeah, yeah.
of which we are suffering for.
Yeah, that's why all of these things just obliterated from the minds of the people. And just sabi, if you are a patriot, you must fight China. No? Para tayong mga attack dogs, no? And as of mindless people na, sige, sugod, no? And go into that. I think our people have to understand na we should stop being tuta of anyone. Tuta of the Americans or tuta of the Chinese.
Yes.
No?
Tama ka doon.
We are Filipinos. No? And our own interest is only the Philippines. It is not a question of sinong kakampihan mo kasi mas malakas to, mas magaling to, mabait ito, masama to. Hindi. Philippines.
That's a sober thought.
And unless we start thinking along those lines, no? Including this very disappointing group of leaders we have from congressmen, senators, and
The executive,
Malacanang, everybody. No?
And let's not forget the Supreme Court.
Yes, no? Including
Mahina
all of them. No? Unless these people start thinking, I think, once maggising ang Pilipino, tanggal lahat sila. Tatanggalin talaga lahat sila. Pag nagising ang Pilipino. Ang problema, ang ngayon, hindi pagising. Like you said, we are a failing nation. If the Filipinos do not wake up to the truth as what we're trying to present, no? We will be a failed nation. But the moment they wake up to the truth, all of these people who are traitors to the country, no, will be kicked out simultaneously.
Ganun nga, parang ganun. Let's do it the other way around. Okay, tingnan natin. Let's assume we now have the government and this government is put aside, Congress, everyone, okay, even the judiciary, okay. We can solve the problem now. Okay.
Pwede.
Okay, kunwari, anong gagawin ngayon natin muna? Okay, it is fact, there is intrusion by China, di ba? The 9-dash line is really unacceptable.
Yes.
Okay. Binomba nila ng tubig yung mga fisherman. Unacceptable.
Okay.
Okay. Ano maganda gawin natin? Kausapin natin China. Bilateral.
Bilateral,
Of course.
mag-usap tayong dalawa.
Tayong dalawa lang. Huwag na
Huwag mo
muna
isama
cruise.
yung manggugulo,
Oh,
yung,
manggugulo.
yung nanggagatong. Huwag mo isama yung Amerikano.
Yung mga ibang bayan. Hindi, basta lahat ng ibang
lahat
bayan.
na.
Okay.
Okay.
China, usap tayo. Pwede, tingin mo.
Pwede.
Yes.
When you
Will
start
that
it off,
succeed?
it will succeed. If our leader will listen.
No, tanggalin na nga natin.
Hindi,
Tayo leader. Tayo leader.
Sige, kausapin natin.
Kausapin natin.
Anong solusyon? Bilateral.
Makikinig naman yun.
Katulad ng India, nag-usap silang dalaw ng China, yung border dispute.
Sa bagay, may history in China na
India.
coming to terms.
Nag-usap sila, nagbigay ng $200 billion ang India sa China, ang China sa India.
Baliktad pa.
Baliktad.
Tinulungan pa.
Tinulungan niya. South Africa, yung bagong presidente, yung babae, binigay ng $150 billion.
Biro mo kung bigyan tayo 100 billion, ano?
Hindi lang yun.
Overnight. Wala na tayong pobre.
Hindi lang yun.
Yeah.
May kasunod ng hari.
Yeah.
Kung akong China, mag-usap tayo daw, ikaw ang representative. Sabi ng China, okay, anong pwede mo ibigay sa akin lahat ng agriculture product mo? Lahat ng buko, lahat ng bang, bibiling ko lahat yan.
Bibilin. Para may negosyo.
Magmi-negosyo. Ano pa kailangan mo? Mag-usap tayo.
Tutulungan. Infrastruktura.
That's exactly what you're saying, but ang prinsipyo na sinasabi natin dito, you know what it was? It's called the principles of the Treaty of Westphalia. Okay?
Please explain.
Treaty of Westphalia happened in 1642, but it became the basis, no, for all subsequent resolutions of territorial...
So bilateral trade formats.
Ang prinsipyo dito ganito. You see, Spain, Netherlands, Germany, France, and Sweden were at war in the 100 Years' War, 100 Years' War.
16th century.
Yeah. No, 1600.
1600.
Patayan sila, okay?
15, yeah, 15.
Tapos dumating yung France, yung Cardinal Mazarin, siya yung acting head ng France. Tingnan mo na, papatayan ba tayo o hindi? Gusto niyo pa bang ituloy ito? Bakit? Pag-usapan natin. Tapos ganito, let us talk peace, pero under the same principle, one principle, sabi niya. The peace must be achieved by proposing something to the advantage of the other. Not to you.
Maganda. Parang
Kung
bigay
lima
kaya.
kayo,
In other words, bigay kaya.
Bigay mo lahat ng palagay mo mas magaling para sa kanila. Sila naman, palagay nila yung mas
Gagawin
magaling sa atin. That became the basis of the Treaty of Westphalia. Westphalia was in Germany. Doon nagkaroon ng ganito. At buhat nun, nagkaroon ng economic component. Kasi hindi lang basta-basta, nagkaroon sila ng economic component that was designed by a guy named Colbert. No? Kasi yung River Rhine traverses, ang nangyayari kasi kada lugar ng isa, meron siyang tax o toll. So pataas ng pataas ang gusto nilang ibenta, tinanggal yon. Magkakaroon ka ng tax lang pag pinasok mo yung isang lugar. Para every country has a right to protect his own goods. No? Pero yung dito sa toll, wala.
Wala na.
Okay.
Wala na.
That became the basis of that Treaty of Westphalia. And for what, how many centuries, that became the principle. Until these last 2-3 decades, when the U.S. and the British said, we must throw the principles of Westphalia, Treaty of Westphalia, out the window because it's no longer modern. And what we must adhere to is might is right.
Kung sino
may
pinakamalakas.
Tama ba yan?
Loko.
Sabi ko, tama ba yan? Hindi, di ba? It is anti-human. No? It is imperialistic in concept. Pero yan ang sinusundan nito.
Pro-billionaire. Anti-poor.
What is yours is mine. What is mine is mine.
Kanya yung pag sinabi mong China, ganyan, ang dali-dali kasi makikita natin agad yung benepisyo natin. O anong gusto mo? O sige, anong gusto mo? Ayos tayo, no? Pero hindi yung ginagawa ngayon, inuudyukan tayo nitong mga to.
Hari, meron say something. Alam mo yung mga fishermen ng Taiwan sa China, special Taiwan, parati may dalang $10,000. Pag nami-meet sila ng fishermen ng Pilipinas, nag-uusap sila. Basta wala yung Coast Guard, nag-uusap sila. Bibili ko na lahat. If you ask a fisherman there, they're happy eh. Sharing yan eh. The bounty of the sea is so much.
It is.
But it's people who are creating havocs because they want conflict. Kaya may hulid sa dagat eh. Diba? Alam mo, for the past so many years, nobody there in the Chinese community talk about this. Marami nahuhuli mga fishermen galing sa China. Tapos, there's a good guy in Rojas Boulevard, hindi ko nababanggit yung pangalan. Siya yung parating nagbe-bail para ilabas uli ng fisherman. Kaya bandang huli napikon mga fishermen, kaya nagsumbong sa national government. Doon na umpisa na may mga warship na dumadaan.
Para protektahan naman nila mga tao nila.
It's two sides of the coin eh. Alam mo, if you sit down and talk about, we solved a political problem through economic solution, if the world will be rich. But the problem is, the manufacturer of war machine, they don't want peace.
Do we want anything from America? What bilateral? Tayo, marami tayong kailangan sa Amerika.
Marami
Ano
din,
ang base
siyempre.
mo? Marami.
You know,
Sila, anong kailangan nila sa atin? Other than to put their warplanes down, to be able to buy food and drink here for... and then to bomb their enemies in sa. Pero sino ba bomb nila? Vietnamese, Indonesians. So dapat, maybe the whole ASEAN should get together against America. Kasi, bakit gusto, if you want to strategically locate it, ang kalaban lang nila, China lang.
Right.
Kumbaga.
Ang importante dito sa atin talaga, ideally, everybody must go for the improvement of each other, di ba?
Correct.
That US develops, the Philippines develop, China develops, and everybody
In an
happy.
ideal government.
Okay. But this is what Franklin Delano Roosevelt was trying to achieve when he came up with this United Nations tsaka yung Bretton Woods Agreement. That is what he was trying to achieve. And that was destroyed kasi ayaw nitong mga financial institutions. Hindi mo na yung military. Yung mga financial institutions, yung mga isipin mo yung mga 5-6, yung mga, sabi natin, Bombay, no? 5-6. Ito, mas grabe pa sa 5-6. Dahil hindi lang sila mataas ang interest, no? Ano pa sila, yung binababaan pa nila yung pera mo vis-a-vis their money, okay? Mas grabe pa. But this is to control you so that you will be permanently under them. This is the thinking of these people. That's why they did not want everybody to be developing. Now, that system that they have implemented has now started to collapse. And you're seeing the U.S. economy collapsing, the European economy collapsing. Now, nakikita nila to. So, mawawala yung kanilang control sa buong mundo. Di ba? Kasi, bumabagsak na yung the whole of Europe, then the whole of US, bumabagsak na. Anong kinakailangan? The other way to control it is to prepare for a military control. And you're seeing this happening in that part of the world and here.
There's a build-up.
They have what they call, ang magaling ang nag-iisip yung General Dempsey, mahusay siya no? Ayaw niya ng gera. Pero siyempre, under lang siya sa commander-in-chief. Sabi niya, he was warning the U.S. leadership, we must not fall into the Thucydides trap. Yung Thucydides is referring to somebody in Greece. Kasi, yung Greece at Sparta nagkaroon ng war. At pinipigil ng Greece yung Sparta kasi it was starting to ascend as a powerful nation. Na ayaw niya maging powerful yan. Kanya bago maging powerful, binabanata na. At pareho silang bumagsak, right? Ito yung trap na sinasabi nila. Pag gagawin mo yan, ayaw mong umangat ang China, ayaw mong umangat ang Russia dahil magiging kapareho lang kayo, ganyan. At uupakan mo na ngayon, anong mangyari? Patay lahat.
God, it sounds like the dynasties and oligarchies in the Philippines. Gentlemen, we're at the top of the hour and I keep getting signs. Last few words. Ikaw, Johnny.
Alam mo, yung ginagawa natin, pag in-observe mo, we are peacemaker. It's in the Bible. The time will come. And we are doing something to open the eyes of the whole world. America is a war creator, a warmonger. And we have to stop them. If we do not stop them, may kasalanan din tayo. At least we talk about it. It's about time.
Butch.
Yes, of course, I agree with what Johnny is saying. But we are so close right now to destroying ourselves as humanity. What you're seeing in Crimea is not a local problem. What you're seeing in Crimea is a lighted fuse. It's not a fuse about to be light. It's a lighted fuse. No? And the wick is very short. No? The conflict between Russia and the United States and the British it's much closer than what we would want. And when the U.S. pulls that trigger, it will pull that trigger not in Russia, but on the whole world. And this is where we must address ourselves. This is the most important issue for all of humanity today. Now, the finger that's on that trigger is that of Obama's. And so the U.S. citizens must take steps, to see to it that that trigger is pulled, that finger is pulled out of that trigger, or pull out Obama altogether. Because once you don't have that, then it is a major step towards peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, ano kaya komentary nito? Stop in the name of love. Hindi naman ako pwede kumanta eh.
Pero tama yung sinabi mo.
Oo, yun na nga eh. Stop America in the name of China? Hindi eh. Stop America from blowing up the world. Yeah, that's more like it. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope we have imparted something rational, something critical for you to understand. Don't go out into the street using placards, bearing placards that say anti-China. Alam mo, ano pangalan mo? Tan? Uy? Nang? Ano pangalan mo? Tapos nakatayo ka, stop. Tapos gusto mo tumabi sa Amerikano, hindi ka namang kamukha ng Amerikano. Ano ba binigay sa iyo? Kung hindi gera. Alam mo, maganda nga Amerika pag pumunta ka. Totoo, I admire American declines. China as well now, they may have problems with smog, but as far as the physical look of China, lumalaban na rin gaya ng Japan. Tayo, may maganda naman tayong magandang area sa Greenbelt. Yung nga lang, para sa mayaman, tsaka kabinete ng presidente. Tsaka sa mayayaman lang. Only the oligarchs, please. Dynasties only in Makati, please. Only when you have money. The poor, no. Doon lang kayo sa Catanduanes. Doon kayo sa Tagbilaran kung saan mainit. Ganun naman nangyayari eh. Now, as Butch said, if we wake up, I'm not calling a revolution, pero kung magising ka and realize the celebrity TV and the artistas are not necessarily what we call the incompetence we require to face the real issues that are facing us. It is not war with China. It is about the war being brought here. That's all we don't want. If they can't solve their problems, so be it. Who are we, insignificant as we are, to tell them both not to fight? But yes, we can say, don't fight here. Dapat yun lang muna. Now, ang kalaban, hindi naman talaga kalaban eh. Gawa-gawa lang gagawa ng isipin natin yan kasi yung sinasabi sa atin ng media, kalaban natin China eh. Paano mo masasabi kalaban natin China kung kamag-anak mo, miski ikaw, Chino rin? Ganun na nangyayari. I don't know, ang hirap, ano? Pero alam mo, be careful of media. Ito, media kami, kinakausap namin kayo. Pero pagkaalam ko, lahat ng ibang channel, tinitingnan ko eh. Bihira, the talk of real issues that are sensitive, straight to the heart. Now, ito, we reach out to you. Become more retrospect. Become more intelligent. Know and understand more of the issues. No to war. Diba? Kaya nga, kinanta ko na nga sa iyo eh. Stop! Hindi na ako kakanta. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you.
Papakanta na naman ako.
You are what you watch.